Everyone, welcome back to the Changing the Game project. My name is John O'Sullivan, and today I want to talk about grit again, talk about mental toughness. And basically what that is the willingness to persevere and the passion to persevere to achieve long-term goals. Now, we've talked in the past, grit was a term coined by University of Pennsylvania researcher Angela Duckworth to describe the long-term passion and commitment and effort needed to achieve these goals. And what I want to talk about today is, can we teach grit? Can we instill grit in our athletes? And I believe that the answer is yes. And if we want our kids, as Duckworth says, to live life like a marathon instead of a sprint, we can do this. And so it can be taught in 3 steps. First, and probably most important, we have to allow our kids to fail. Now, sometimes this seems counterintuitive, but if we don't let our kids fail, they're never going to develop grit. If every time they get cut from a team or benched or don't get enough playing time, we blame coaches, we blame teammates, we blame referees, we blame everything outside of them, well, guess what? We're not telling them, we're not teaching them that failure is part of the learning process. If we want our kids to be gritty, they have to understand that this is a process. And if they really have great long-term commitments and long-term goals that they're wanting to achieve, they're going to have to fail, and they're going to have to learn to overcome disappointment. Now, if your son or your daughter is the best player on the team, if they never fail, well, guess what? You might need to find more challenging opportunities for them, because there's always something better. There's always a more challenging place. Maybe they should be playing with adults. Maybe they should be playing with up an age group or 2. But they need to be challenged, and they need to challenge themselves. So if it's too easy, if they're never falling down, then you also have to find a situation where they will fall down and where they can learn from that failure and they can be taught from that failure. Now, the second thing that's really, really important is we have to, if we want to instill grit, we have to praise our kids' grittiness. We have to praise them for perseverance. We have to praise them for effort. If we want to instill this, telling them that they're smart or telling them that they're great athletes or telling them that they're so talented does not instill that, because that instills what we call this fixed mindset that Carol Dweck talks about. But if we want to instill grittiness, then focus on the things they do that are gritty. Focus on the times that they're disappointed and then they overcome that disappointment. That's how you're going to instill that. Third, and this might be the hardest part, I know it is for me, if you want your kids to be gritty, then you as a parent need to be a role model of grittiness. Don't come home and complain why it's your boss's fault that you didn't get the promotion or didn't get the raise. Don't blame your coworkers. Don't blame other people for the disappointments in your life. Teach your kids and model for your kids that, you know what, I'm really disappointed right now. I worked very hard for that, but I'm going to double down. I'm going to keep working, and I'm going to get it eventually. That's how you teach your kids to be gritty. Another way to do it really is do something that you've always wanted to do, something on your bucket list. You've always wanted to run a marathon, half marathon, sign up for it. And tell your kids, look, this is going to be the hardest thing I've ever done, but I'm going to do it, and I'm going to train for 6 months. I'm going to train for a year to do this. And what you're modeling for them is that great things don't happen overnight, but when you put in the work and you put in the effort and you overcome the disappointments, great things happen. So show grit to your kids, and they're going to become gritty themselves. Thanks very much. Please share your comments below this video. Let me know if you think there's some other things we can do as parents and as coaches to instill grittiness in our players. And there's also a link below this for Angela Duckworth's 12-question grit test. So I encourage you to take the test. I encourage you to give the test to your kids and see what they come up with. And if you want, share your results below. Thanks very much. Again, it's John O'Sullivan.